This week, a potential turning point for the homeless, as Austin City Council could vote to nearly double the amount of money it will spend renovating a city-owned property that has been vacant for years. KXAN's Grace Reader breaks down why the city says they need the extra funding.
The bungalows at Century Park, formerly known as the Texas Bungalows Hotel and Suites in North Austin, still sits empty after City Council purchased it in 2021 to serve as permanent supportive housing.
Purchase one hotel to help those experiencing homelessness.
More than 3 years later, Austin City Council could vote to nearly double the amount they'll put toward renovating the property, an extra $2.3 million for, quote, exterior cracking of the facade, roof repair, previous damage from flooding, and construction price escalation. But the city says it's necessary, and when the property opens, it'll serve as permanent supportive housing for people who are disabled and have a documented history of chronic homelessness. We've talked to the homeless strategy officer about that type of housing previously.
So that's usually for your individuals who have the greatest levels of acuity and need the most care. And like the name implies, that resource is available for that client permanently.
Of the people we've talked to who are presently homeless, like Victoria Marshall, that type of housing has largely been what they've pointed to.
To have something more sustainable, permanent housing.
And it's something groups addressing homelessness, like the Ending Community Homelessness Coalition, or ECHO, have said is much needed in Austin.
In our community, permanent housing right now has too often looked like tenant-based housing in the private rental market and not looked like enough dedicated permanent housing built by developers who have a long history in serving people experiencing homelessness.
But ECHO says the tide is turning on that a bit. According to data from them, there are more than 1,700 permanent supportive housing units in our area. That's an update from last year. And more are coming online, including 60 at the bungalows.
To have units that are just dedicated to this population makes a real difference in our efforts here to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring.
Grace Reader, KXAN News.
And according to the City of Austin, the additional funding for the bungalows will come from 2022 General Obligation Bonds and American Rescue Plan Act funding. That facility is expected to open up in the fall, according to the city. And the City of Austin also purchased the former Candlewood Suites Hotel, now called Pecan Gardens, to create permanent supportive housing. Today we checked in with Family Elder Care, the group that's going to run that property. The group's CEO says they hope to be weeks away from a grand opening, and they say they're going to start with roughly 20 clients by the end of May. They hope to have their official grand opening coming up in early June.